It's Monday, November 9th, and welcome to the reading of the Mansfield News Journal. We begin our reading with the area deaths. Michael John Perry, known as Rags, 69, of Mansfield, passed away Thursday morning, November 5th, at his home. The family will receive friends from 5 to 8 p.m. Monday, November 9th, at the Ontario home of Wapner Funeral Directors. Additional visitation will be held from 11 a.m. until the service at 1 p.m. on Tuesday, November 10th, at the funeral home. Elsa Frances Collins of Lexington passed away on Friday, November 6, 2020, at the age of 85, at her daughter's home in North Ridgeville. Private graveside services will be conducted. William Lloyd Elrod, known as Bill, passed away peacefully on Thursday, October 29th, from his Ontario home. He was 84. Private graveside services will be held in Belleville Cemetery. Emily M. Finnicle, formerly of Mansfield, Ohio, passed away November 2nd at her home in Charlotte, North Carolina. Due to COVID, there will be no public memorial service. Harold Richard Gale, or known as Dick, 82, of Mansfield, passed away Saturday, October 31st, at Ohio Health Mansfield Hospital. The family will observe a memorial service at a later date. Bill Jarvis passed away. I believe his birthday was September 26, 1948. Services will be held at the Snyder Funeral Home in Belleville on Monday, November 9th, with visitation from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Masks and social distancing will be observed. A graveside service will follow at 2 at the Enchanatown Cemetery at Owl Creek Church of the Brethren in Enchanatown, Ohio. Sharon K. Mayer, 76, of Mansfield, Ohio, passed away on Friday, November 6th, at Ohio Health Mansfield Hospital due to complications after a recent fall. A celebration of life will be held at 3 p.m. on Saturday, November 14th, at Lake Maria Campground in Lexington, Ohio. Mary Lou Verberg, 89, of Willard, passed away Saturday, October 31st, at Stein Hospice, Sandusky. A public visitation will be held on Wednesday, November 11th, from 4 to 7 p.m., and Thursday, November 12th, from 10 a.m. until the time of a private family service at 11 a.m. at the Eastern Funeral Home, Greenwich, Ohio. All attendees are asked to wear a mask and practice all social distancing and mass gathering guidelines. Otis Payton, known as Dean, 63, of Ashland, passed away on Thursday, November 5th, from the result of lung cancer. An interment service will be held on Tuesday, November 10th at 11 a.m. in Grassy Creek, Kentucky, in the family cemetery. This concludes the reading of the area deaths for today. Let's now begin with our first article. COVID-19 map shows Richland County remains red, by Monroe Trombley. For a sixth consecutive week, Richland County will remain red on the state's color-coded alert system and continues to meet the U.S. Centers for Disease Control threshold for high incidence of COVID-19. Richland County had 359 cases of COVID-19 in the last 2 weeks, meaning there are 296.2 cases per 100,000 people, which is up 195.6 on October 29th and 130 on October 22. All Ohio counties are high incidence. The county with the highest rate, Putnam, is reporting 1,157.7 cases per 100,000 people. Richland County is among 56 red counties out of the Ohio's total of 88 counties, an increase from 43 counties last week. Those counties comprised 86% of Ohio residents. That's the highest number of red counties since the alert system was introduced. Richland County also remains red this week because it triggered 5 of the alert system's 7 indicators: new cases per capita, sustained increase in new cases, proportion of cases not in congregate settings, sustained increase in emergency department visits for COVID-like illnesses, and sustained increase in outpatient visits for COVID-like illnesses, 3 more than last week. Richland County has not triggered the remaining two indicators, which are sustained increase in new COVID hospital admissions and intensive care unit bed occupancy. As of Tuesday, the 7-day average for new cases is 17.4, down from a high of 33.9 on October 27th. And as of Tuesday, the 7-day average of emergency department visits and outpatient visits for COVID-like illnesses is 11.9 and 35.6 respectively. Between October 28th and November 3rd, 98.5% of new cases did not come from congregate care settings, meaning there is a greater risk of community spread compared to 99% between October 21st and October 27th, and 99% between October 14th and October 20th. As of Thursday, Richland County had 1,793 confirmed and probable cases of COVID-19, the disease caused by the novel coronavirus, which is up 124 since Monday. October was Richland County's worst month of the pandemic for new cases of the coronavirus. At least 600 people in Richland County either received a positive test result or first reported symptoms of COVID-19 in October. That's nearly double the number in September. Ohio reported 4,961 new cases of COVID-19 between Wednesday and Thursday, shattering another daily record. Next up, Abraxas House teen charged with murder. Residents often run away from Mansfield area treatment centers, by Lou Whitmire. In Shelby, a teen arrested on murder charges in the shooting death of a man outside a Columbus gun show was housed temporarily at Abraxas, Ohio, a Mansfield area teen treatment facility from which residents frequently run away. Javonte Williams, 17, is accused of fatally shooting a 21-year-old man on September 20th in the parking lot of the former Westland Mall in Columbus, according to the Franklin County Sheriff's Office. He was at the Abraxas facility on 2775 Ohio 39 until Franklin County deputies took him into custody on an arrest warrant October 27th and transported him to the Richland County Detention Center, according to a Richland County Sheriff's Office report. Williams stayed at the detention center for a little over 24 hours, according to Court Administrator Brian Bumpus, who confirmed the teen had been committed at Abraxas. So far this year, Richland County deputies have investigated 40 runaways from Abraxas, including 4 teens who fled the facility at Wednesday night. 2 of the 4 teens who ran away Wednesday were located by deputies and taken back to the facility the same night. Friday, Ashland police located the other 2 boys, a 17-year-old Mansfield youth and a 16-year-old boy from Marion, on Center Street in Ashland. The boys were found with a pickup stolen from a resident on Stiving Road in Richland County. Richland County Sheriff Captain Donald Zenner said Friday afternoon. The teens will be taken to Richland County Detention Center, Zaner said. Richland County deputies assisted the Franklin County deputies when Williams was taken into custody and transported to the Richland County Detention Center without incident, according to the RCSO report. Williams is charged with a delinquency count of aggravated murder, accused of killing 21-year-old Sage Martin outside the former mall near the intersection of US 40 and Interstate 270 on Columbus's west side, according to the Dispatch, which reported the teen's arrest on October 29th. Monica Hook, Vice President of Strategic Marketing for the GEO Group, Inc., Abraxas's parent company, said in an email statement Thursday that Abraxas provides open residential treatment services to adolescent males and outpatient treatment services to adolescents and adults. Abraxas has been a valued employer and service provider in Shelby, Ohio for more than 25 years. Juvenile court systems and agencies throughout the state of Ohio refer individuals to our programs that have co-occurring conditions such as substance abuse and mental health disorders, family dysfunction, trauma and abuse histories. We utilize multiple evidence and competency-based curricula and promote safety and recovery through the activity creation of a trauma-informed community. Hook said, "We cannot confirm or deny whether an individual has received services. Individuals receiving treatment services are protected under federal law 42 CFR and HIPAA." Hook did not respond to specific questions from the News Journal, including whether Abraxas is a secure facility. Up next, NIS Aviation Eyes Lehman Investment by Monroe Trombley. In Mansfield, NIS Aviation is proposing to invest at least $2 million in Mansfield-Lahm Airport. Mansfield City Council discussed Tuesday allowing the city to sign a contract with NIS Aviation, owned by Dan Nis, president of Next Generation Films, to provide fixed base operator, or an FBO service at Lahm, such as fuel and aircraft maintenance. Bud Vetter, who represents NIS Aviation, said the company is proposing to build a new hangar and a self-service fuel station and to improve parking. Their plan is to really have a first-class operation out here at Mansfield-Lahm Airport, Vetter said. They have some strategic alliances with, call them heavy hitters in the FBO business. As part of the lease agreement, city engineer Bob Bianchi said NIS Aviation requested improvements be made to the terminal building's entrance. Revenue from the sale of airport land in 2018 would be used for improvements, Bianchi said. Council will vote November 17th on the lease agreement, in addition to a bill adopting revised minimum standards for commercial air service providers at LAM. I've heard for so long, even before I was on council, that our airport is the sleeping giant, said at-large Councilman Phil Scott, chair of council's airport committee. So maybe this is what can wake it up and get it going. NIS Aviation LLC was incorporated in April, and NIS Aviation FBO LLC was incorporated Wednesday, according to state records. $9 million spec building. Council also authorized a pair of bills giving Airport West LLC a tax break. The company was formed by Adena Development, which is building a $9 million, 160,000 square foot spec building on 15 acres at 1750 Airport West Road. The city sold the land to Adena for $1. A spec building is one built without a lined-up tenant. With the agreement, Airport West LLC will be exempt from paying 100% of taxes on real estate improvements for 15 years. In exchange, Madison Local Schools will be paid $100,422 each year. It's a great opportunity for us to have a local development that's willing to invest this kind of money and take the chance on building this type of facility without having an end user, said Tim Bowersock, Economic Development Director. In other news, Council discussed amending city law concerning emergency alarms. The bill, among other things, increases fines for false alarms. We need to put a little bit of teeth into our existing ordinances in order to reduce the number of false alarms that our safety forces run into on a daily basis, said Dan Gregory, the city's alarm administrator. Gregory believes changing the ordinances will reduce the number of false alarms by 30%. Council's final vote is scheduled for December 15th. Council appropriated $5,000 to install Christmas light displays via the Richland Community Development Group Mansfield Beautification Sector. Council appropriated $25,000 to support a 4-year facade grant program run by Downtown Mansfield, Inc. Council authorized the city to accept a grant of $2,100 from Richland County Foundation to hire an intern for the Department of Community Development. Council approved the city to accept a grant of $49,435 from the Ohio Crime Victims Assistance Office. Council amended the zoning district's map to rezone 2 lots at South Main Street and Ford Avenue from multifamily residential to neighborhood business district. Authorized the city to advertise for bids and enter into a contract or contracts for hauling and disposal of water treatment plant sludge. Authorize the city to advertise for bids and enter into an agreement with the highest bidder for the agricultural use of 270,000 acres of farmland near Mansfield-Lum Regional Airport for 5 years. Bob Bianchi, city engineer, hopes to receive between $130 to $150 an acre. Council discussed amending city law to raise the cost of filing a demolition appeal to $65, require appellants to submit additional information, and raise the cost of residential performance bonds from $5,000 to $10,000. Council discussed the 2021 temporary budget. They also authorized the city to contract with MG Energy Inc. for $98,395 to replace a boiler at the municipal building. COVID impacts Community Alternative Center. Commission learns more money also needed to upgrade honor grounds by Al Lawrence. Mansfield. Budget reserves for Richland County's Community Alternative Center, or the CAC, could be next to zero at the end of 2021 if the COVID crisis continues far into next year. CAC Program Director Tom Trishish told the county commissioner during his agency's budget review on Tuesday that COVID agency-related issues have cut down the number of clients treated this year, which has resulted in lower revenue from treatment fees. COVID did have an effect on us somewhat this year in terms of the courts slowing down on sending referrals to us, so our population went down for several months, Trish said. We had surplus from last year, so it allowed us to still be good in terms of our finances. Trish said that while Ashland Municipal Court Judge John Good had been sending more people to the CAC for work release programs, Wayne County has not used the facility for many overflow prisoners over the last 5 months because of COVID. He said Mansfield Municipal Court has not used the agency's services much as he would have liked this year, although the Richland County Mental Health Board helps with drug court expenses. Shelby, Ontario, and Crawford County also have not sent many people. Tritschutz said that Franklin County, which has been a big client, has really slowed down because everything is remote and there has not been a lot of court activity. He noted that several probation officers there told him they haven't had new people put on probation in about 4 months. Tritschutz said the recent certification of the CAC as an inpatient treatment facility should result in higher reimbursements from Medicare and Medicaid. However, the overall budget he presented showed the carryover budget balance will drop from an estimated $140,000 at the end of this year to just $30,000 at the end of 2021. This year, we obviously lost $200,000 or $300,000, Tritschutz said. Our population right now is 25 people in treatment, and usually that's enough to pay the bills, but we were down quite a bit from that this year, and that's why we suffered. Commissioners asked Tritschutz about several pay raises he, Assistant Director Andy Baker, and a counselor got this year. Tritschutz explained they were for an added workload caused when another counselor left, and that salaries will be reduced what they were when a replacement is hired. The board also had questions about several budget items that did not add up and asked Tritschutz to bring in a corrected budget. The 2021 budget he presented totaled nearly $1.6 million compared to a projected year-end total expense this year of $1.4 million. Tritschutz also reported on some positive things the CAC has done this year, including hiring a new clinical supervisor who has helped create a new treatment program and a new treatment counselor with a music background. Other additions include a Friday art therapy program, a fatherhood program, a new security system, a security cameras, a new staff break area, higher quality linens for the clients, and new furniture. Commissioners also learned Tuesday that the Richland County Veterans Service Commission will need more money in 2021 to continue progress on the upgrade of the honor grounds at the Mansfield Cemetery. Director Ken Estep told the board during the agency's budget review that the project had turned out to be more expensive than officials thought it would be. We still have 2 more sections that are going to have to be done. So that's where a lot of our budget is going into, he said. We were in the process of buying 150 headstones from Vets USA to go into the grounds where a lot of veterans have not had their headstones. Estep also reported that estimated travel is down because all trips were canceled due to COVID-19. Cancellations included all trips to Cleveland. Overall spending in the Veterans Service Commission for 2021 is $959,518 compared to the estimated final figure for 2020 of $9,032,589. The last budget review Tuesday was for wastewater treatment, where Director Amanda Miller said she has not increased the department revenue stream to reflect the effects of the current epidemic. She also told the board she intended to continue a sewer inflow and infiltration study, but may not be able to complete it in 2021 if there are not enough funds. The wastewater treatment budget for 2021 is proposed to be $3.63 million, while final expenses for this year are projected at $3.61 million. Our next article: Ohio troopers seize weapons, prescription medications from a man, by Lou Whitmire. Ohio Highway Patrol troopers have filed felony drug charges against an Oklahoma man after a traffic stop in Richland County. During the stop, troopers seized 6 pounds of marijuana and 100 prescription pills worth approximately $18,600, according to a news release issued Thursday by Lieutenant Lawrence Fermi in Bucyrus. Troopers stopped a rented 2020 Chevrolet Malibu with Florida registration for marked lanes and unsafe lane change violations on Interstate 71 at 4:24 p.m. on October 30th. While interacting with the driver, he admitted there was marijuana in the vehicle. A probable cause search of the vehicle revealed 6 pounds of marijuana, prescription pills, a loaded 20-gauge shotgun, and a loaded .45 automatic handgun, according to the patrol. The driver, Elias J. Johnson, 21, of Tulsa, was incarcerated in the Richland County Jail and charged with both a 3rd-degree felony and 5th-degree felony for possession of drugs, as well as with carrying a concealed weapon, a 4th-degree felony. If convicted, he could face up to 5.5 years in prison and a fine up to $17,500. Make a Difference Day raises $10,000 by Lou Whitmire. Last month's local Make a Difference Day food drive raised $10,000 towards restocking the food pantry of Harmony House and Catholic Charities. Doc Stumbo, the organizer of the event, said the local trade unions contributed over $4,000 and members of the community donated cash and checks and non-perishable food items, bringing the total donations to $10,000. Norm Shoemaker, president of the Mid-Ohio Area AFL-CIO Council, said so many trade unions stepped up to help the community provide donations to the 2 food pantries. That's what we do, he said. Everybody stepped up and we appreciate them. Shoemaker said the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the United Food and Commercial Workers, and about a dozen trade unions made the food drive a success. Stumbo said his formula for the food drive's $10,000 total included changing the value of 2 cans of vegetables to $1 and then adding that to the union's contribution before dividing the cash and food goods to the 2 food pantries evenly. Checks were delivered to Harmony House and Catholic Charities on November 6th. And now, commissioners continue reviewing the 2021 budget by Al Lawrence. The Richland County Emergency Management Agency, or the EMA, plans to hire replacement personnel next year, including someone who can eventually take over the agency. Commissioners learned of the plans Thursday as they reviewed the 2021 budget for the EMA, County Prosecutor's Office, and Human Resources. EMA Director Rick Evans said he's looking to hire a deputy director and secretary because he and current Secretary Sue Hunt plan to retire at the end of next year. He said it could take 6 months to train someone for the position, depending on whether or not they have prior experience. I came from emergency services, and a lot of it is knowing the right people. Knowing who to contact, Evans says. If you get somebody fresh off the street, they're going to have to start making those contacts. They have to deal with EMPG, or Emergency Management Planning Grant funding, the different grants that are available out there, and doing inspections. Evans said plans for 2021 also include renovations for the new County Emergency Operations Center, which will be created in space vacated when 911 moves into its renovated space in the People's Building. Work likely will include new outlets, painting, carpeting, and multimedia equipment to create an EOC wing. Commissioners also discussed a proposal by Governor Mike DeWine to have counties create a COVID defense teams to educate the public and reduce the number of new COVID cases. DeWine said the teams should be made up of people from the medical fields, mayors, religious leaders, and businesses to help find solutions to what has been described as COVID-19 fatigue. Commissioner Darrell Banks pointed out local leaders have been holding weekly meetings since the coronavirus epidemic started. Rather than reinventing the wheel, why can't the meetings you've been having be our defense team, Banks said. It just doesn't make sense to me that we start all over again with something we've been doing. Commissioner Tony Vero noted local health officials are swamped with the number of COVID-related committees they're on. He also pointed out commissioners have no legislative or enforcement authority to enforce recommendations that come from the defense team. Commissioners said they have not received a clear idea of what the governor is looking for from defense teams, as has been the case with other directives, and officials will not be able to move forward until they do. Chairwoman Marilyn John said the biggest concern she's heard from the residents is the quality of education children are receiving with distance learning. John said she knows of an individual whose child is going to school 2 days and learning remotely 3 days, and went from being an AB student to a CDF student. At what point does our children's education become important, she asked. I've talked with people in the schools who are doing Zoom calls with 4th graders for a class, and the 4th graders are at home with all kinds of distractions, from stuffed animals to pets, and they're under their chairs and they're not learning anything. During the discussion about the prosecutor's budget, Gary Bishop said he's been dealing with the uncertainties of what COVID crisis has done with the revenues this year and has tried to anticipate where budget cuts can be made in 2021 if needed. He also pointed out he's been conservative with spending from the state required furtherance of Justice Fund and will return a substantial portion of this year's allocation to the county's general fund. Bishop said he's looking to hire an intern to work as a paralegal and fill a retirement vacancy for a clerical position. The clerical position is important to manage the juvenile court docket and send out subpoenas for those cases and manage the Court of Appeals docket. Commissioners also reviewed the Human Resources budget for 2021, which has no changes from the initial presentation in May. Central Services Manager Rachel Troyer said contracted letter processing services costs will increase 1 cent per letter for the average 12,000 letters that go out to the county offices and departments each month. Postal expenses were up this year because of COVID issues and extra mailings from the Board of Elections, which were reimbursed. The total HR spending request for 2021 is $383,500 compared to $379,562 requested for 2020. For other departments, EMA is asking for $200,037 for next year compared to estimated total spending this year of $150,319, while the prosecutor's proposed 2021 budget is $2.27 million, compared to an estimated final spending total for this year of $2.05 million. Fire destroys Franklin Township house by Mark Cottle. A wood-burning stove in an attached garage started a fire that destroyed the house at 2500 Bowman Street on Saturday morning. It's a total loss, said Donnie Ostrander, a lieutenant with the Township Fire Department. The call came in at 9:35 a.m. Ostrander happened to be in the immediate area and was the first on the scene. I was sitting on a deer stand right across the road, he said. I was hunting and I could see the smoke. Upon arrival, we had smoke coming out of the front two eaves. I went to the left-hand side of the house, to the garage. As bad as the fire was, Ostrander said it could have been even worse. There was an oil container on the side of the house that the fire could have got a hold of. That accelerated it, or the fire did get a hold of. That accelerated it even more, the lieutenant said, adding firefighters were fortunate there was no explosion. The one-story home about 5 miles north on Mansfield had an attic where Ostrander said a ceiling collapsed, spread the fire to the basement. Firefighters were on the scene some 3.5 hours later, dealing with that issue. A married couple had rented the home, according to the auditor's official website. The owners were Dane Donahue and Pamela Serve. There were no injuries during the fire, though the husband was transported to a hospital for hand injuries sustained earlier in the day. Because of the size of the fire, Ostrander called for 5 other fire departments to provide mutual aid. Our crew did a great job, he said. Other departments that responded were Shelby Shiloh, Madison Township, Springfield Township, and the Air National Guard. Well, friends, that concludes the reading of the Mansfield News Journal for Monday, November 9th. My name is Pam. Thank you for allowing me into your home today. Please stay safe, be abundantly blessed. Do what you do to make it a great day.